good morning to this session with Mr. Kalidas Ghose from FE Credit Vietnam. We are very, very privileged to have him here with us today. My name is Ritesh Varma and I look after the business consulting practice within Newgen. Just a brief on Mr. Kalidas, I think he has a fabulous reputation of transforming things, transforming experiences globally. Throughout his experience at Citibank, Citi Financials, Prudential, then moving on to VP Bank and now FE Credit. Mr. Kalidas, you've had an excellent run with transformations and you've seen it through various generations. How do you think transformations are changing the world today? Your views, sir.
Yep, I think I've been a little bit lucky. First of all, good morning to all of your viewers and to you and to your colleagues. It's obviously a privilege to be in this conversation and to share our mutual experiences in this area. I guess transformation has become quite imperative as the changes have become more regular. I think changes have been always there in the life cycle of any organization from quite a long period of time, since time immemorial. But in the recent past, in at least the last 2 decades, the changes have been really rapid and dramatic and very, very unpredictable. So as a result of that, obviously organizations are now have become partly out of compulsion, partly out of their innate innovativeness to be able to respond to these changes. I mean, if you take the lending industry per se, which is what I've been associated for the last almost 10 years now with VP Bank and with FE Credit, the whole industry changed from a very intermediary-driven traditional business model to a pure play digital interaction, robotic process fulfillment, alternate database scoring. So as these trends developed, organizations obviously had to modify themselves to adapt to these changes and build their competitive edge, remain successful, maintain their market share. So that's why transformation is becoming a trend increasingly in every industry, but and obviously in our industry as well.
Perfect. So last year had been a roller coaster ride for everyone, I suppose. How was it in Vietnam? I suppose everyone is keeping safe and everyone is doing all right. But last year was more about personal equity rather than the financial equity, so as to say. But in this entire thing, you also had to run a business. How did technology come to your rescue in such a sense?
Yeah, it's obviously a very relevant and interesting topic these days about how industries are navigating through COVID, and our industry, consumer lending, is particularly susceptible to changes or to crisis of this nature because it affects the repayment capacity of our customers, and therefore it affects the credit performance of the portfolio, and therefore it affects the health of the business, the financial health of the business. And we are seeing that now that this has gone on for almost 18 months, we are seeing that almost in every corner of the world that consumer finance, consumer lending industries have been severely affected. In general, I think we were in a much better position, or we are still today, despite periodic waves in this market, are in a very good position because of, I think, 3 or 4 factors. Number one, of course, is that the market, the political situation, the administrative efficiency was pretty high, and Vietnam came out on the top in terms of controlling COVID. Even today, 18 months later, the statistics show how this country has been able to control COVID, at least among countries which are mid to large in size in terms of their people, in terms of their population. The second, I believe, is the particular niche that our industry serves to the customers, which are approximately 60-65% of the customers, but their normal savings levels are pretty high. So even when they had financial crisis, and there is obviously, Vietnam is not decoupled from the world economy, and it has its own, the COVID crisis had its impact on the economy as well in job losses, at least reduction in income, if not job losses per se. But our customers were able to meet the situation as a result of their high savings level, is what one opinion or one view that we have.
Okay.
Number three, we have always invested in technology, and we have been prepared for situations like this, both from a risk management perspective, but also from an operating model, business model perspective. So we were able to quickly adjust to work from home with very high level of productivity because of our remote operating capabilities, because of the systems and technology that we have invested in. So as a result of that, we were able to navigate through this crisis. And number four, I think our management team, which is obviously quite experienced, both in local market, local experts, but also overseas experienced people who have seen this type of crisis before. Of course, nothing can compare to COVID in terms of its magnitude, but whatever experience they had, they were able to react very quick. So whether it is improving the collection force, shifting people from sales to collection, moderating the risk quality of new originations, managing the liquidity by increasing our bank lines. So we took several actions because of which we were able to respond to the crisis quicker. So I think Vietnam as a market did exceedingly well in terms of controlling COVID. The particular customer segment we serve, were able to absorb the shock. We were better prepared structurally especially because of our technology platform, and our reaction was quite swift. So as a result of all those factors, we were able to navigate, and our financial profits, like our net earnings, were affected less than 20%. That is a reduction of around 15 to 16%, whereas some of our regional competitors, regional peers, saw nearly 80, 90, sometimes 100% dip in profits, sometimes even negative profits for the year 20, and looks like for the year 21 as well. So compared to that, of course, our performance was much better, and because of certain factors, but it was a crisis of a lifetime for us as well, as it was for any other player in our industry.
I agree. No, people would not be going on for loans unless it's really, really important in these times. So, in the overall aspect of things, it was also managing people, managing the external stakeholders as well as the customers together. And one thing that I truly believe is that we are all living in an age of digital storm. Why I call it a digital storm is because as a storm needs air pressure, kind of wind velocity, and kind of temperature, all of these to come in together. In today's times, in a digital world, for it to happen, we have the AI chatbots, we have the low code platforms, we have content services, and we have various things to kind of look at the overall things together. And transformation has been the key forte of FE Credit, as I was reading recently. And it has been on the pinnacle of leading the digital transformation as such. Did 2020 kind of help you to relook at the entire strategy, and how did digital transformation come in handy into all of this for your external employees, internal employees, and obviously the customers?
Yeah, I mean, if we take a realistic view and of what really happened with us and our business during this crisis, I would say that we have always tried to be at the leading edge of innovation, or at least technology IT sophistication. And we consider IT and risk management to be our two-pronged competitive edge in the market, which has helped us to garner more than 50% share of market in this country, which is no mean achievement, because we were, I guess, 8th or 9th among the players, among the 16 or 17 players who are operating in this industry today. So we have always tried to follow the strategy where technology becomes a key differentiator, along with, of course, risk management and few other factors like cost efficiency, etc. So we started on a very traditional mode, but even when we did traditional mode, people-based stuff, intermediary-based origination with salespeople actually standing at dealer counters, we used technology like the one that we used from Newgen in collaboration with other players to do central underwriting, 100% central underwriting, completely automated credit decisioning process, even when we started 10 years back. And since then, we kept modifying and kept upgrading our technology to keep up with the times and actually be ahead of it. So circa 2017, we had started the process of digitalizing our business platform. And during COVID, we were able to find renewed applications, renewed use cases of the technology innovations or investments we had done already. So yes, we had built the capability of remote operation to use part-time telephone operators for sales or debt reminders or customer service. But it was during COVID when we found, like today, nearly 90% of our people are operating from home, and without making any compromise on the control and efficiency and productivity of their performance. So we are operating on the same dialer as we do in our office, on the same CRM system as we do in our office, but on a mobile phone sitting outside of the staff's home. And we've literally taken the workstation from our back office call center to the home of the staff, with the same degree of control, same degree of quality assurance, and efficiency and productivity. Now that would not have happened unless this crisis would have happened, because we would have used those technology on the fringes. So I wouldn't probably say that we did something dramatically different when the crisis happened, but we probably found more expanded uses of what the investment we had done already, or the technology we had built already. And we are now organized in a very in a structure, in an architecture which we have built with the help of our strategic advisors, including some of the large global advisors, into what we call a digital core, which is around 6 layers of our stack, which starts with customer interface layer, the customer journey layer, the core banking layer, the API management or integration layer, the data layer, data and BI layer and modeling layer, and the ERP layer. So we have these 6 layers in which we have organized ourselves, and that we had started as a process even before COVID started. But we, having started early and having completed most of it even before COVID hit, really helped us to navigate through this crisis much better.
Wonderful, wonderful. So being prepared and staying ahead of times actually came in handy during these times of crisis. Makes sense, makes sense. You also use the content services from Newgen. I suppose this is a big thing in today's times where paper is not being touched yet. The physical form has to be filled, the Fed signatures have to be there. So content services would have played an important role for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think in our case, we found that the technology that we were trying to use has to be very useful and applied in use cases. That was our key kind of motivation to do and use the new technology. Now, content became very important in 2 ways. One, we gradually built systems or capabilities to extract more data and use it gainfully for credit underwriting, for customer service, and even for marketing and sales. For example, if in the process of collecting bank statements, if we found there is an opportunity to provide an insurance product to the customer, let's say a travel insurance, if we find that he's traveling frequently. Earlier in an underwriting on a paper base, we were not able to do this, build these capabilities, but suddenly we built and this is just one of the many use cases. Credit underwriting, for example, being ability to convert data from physical paper to a digital image and then to a digital data form became a key differentiator for us and became an integral part of our credit underwriting process itself, and then in turn sales and marketing process as well. So content became very important for us, and that is where we found that support from a good technology partner like you can really help a business model blossom in a manner that probably the managers envisage. Because sometimes you may have an idea, but translating that into practice is not always easy because it depends on the capability of technology. So that is where we found an able partner, and so far we have been able to translate all our ideas into practice with the help of partners like you, especially on the content side. I must say that most of our ideas have been translated to practice, and some new things we are in discussion today, which will also take shape over the coming few days, and or maybe few months, and that will add added advantage to our business.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, I think a technology alone cannot do things, and a vision alone cannot do things. It's the amalgamation of the two which come in together to make the difference happen. It's the magic that happens because of the vision as well as technology. So suppose it's equally important. How do you see, sir, Newgen to be part of your upcoming journey and the transformational? I'm sure you would have bigger transformational ideas in the making, and then we'd love to be part of that. How do you see Newgen to be part of the overall growth story with FE Credit?
Yeah, I think content will become very important for us from both on the capture side, that is capture, translation into digital form and extract uh, actionable business intelligence from the data. That is going to become very important. And what is also going to become very important is how do we deliver it to the front line? So for example, if during collection, a customer, let's say in a field visit on the app of the customer, of the collector, I'm sorry, of the field collector, one need to deliver the customer's photo in a secure way so that it cannot be misused, but it can be used for verifying the customer instantly, or any data which is available in all the documentation the customer has submitted before, or even for a field underwriting, or for that matter for sales. If content can be both captured, modified or transformed, archived, and then delivered as it is necessary to the front line, can become a very strong enabler for a business model, and for business success can play a very active role, important role in the business success. And this is where we see our partnership with Newgen to have very high potential in adding value to ours, but also in playing a very strong part in the revolutionizing of this industry. If you see, I think that's where we can expect our partnership to blossom, but also for Newgen to play a very vital role in this industry.
Wonderful. We look forward to it, sir. In fact, we are doing a lot of things on our bit to transform the way that people look at applications. We are working a lot on the low-code application development from a deep automation perspective, from a lending perspective. We are working a lot on customer communications and personalization and hyper-personalization of communication. So a lot of things that are kind of cooking in the Newgen kitchen as well, in order to aid that vision of the customers or the partners like yourself to kind of transform and take it to the next level. So it's really exciting times ahead, if I may call it so. And once this pandemic gets over, I'm sure it will kind of just spring back into action and further growth stories will be written. So thanks a lot for your time today, sir. It's been a pleasure and great to share insights with yourself. Thanks a lot for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Glad to meet you and glad to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.